My name is Cassandra Bennett. I am 33 years old. And 3 hours ago, I stood in front of 80 people at my parents' housewarming party and told them something my mother did not want anyone to know. That the $1.2 million house they were standing in, the house with the cantilevered balcony and floor-to-ceiling windows, the house featured in Architecture Northwest magazine, exists because I spent 1,248 hours designing it for free. And then I told them something worse. My parents put that house in a trust for my brother Todd, only Todd, not me, the architect, just Todd, who visited the construction site twice. But here is what I did not tell them at that party. Here is what I discovered in the weeks after. The house going to my brother, that was planned from the very beginning, from the first napkin sketch. From the moment my mother said the words family project. This was never a gift, it was a con. And I was the mark. Welcome back to Echoes from Grandma Room, where we share real stories about family, work, and the moment you realize you were never the one they were building a future for. If this story speaks to you, subscribe. Drop a comment telling me, have you ever worked for free for family thinking it would make them love you? And stay with me because what I am about to tell you, the twists I did not see coming, I am still processing. Let me take you back 4 years, to a napkin, to a lunch, to the moment everything started. 4 years ago, my parents invited me to lunch at Clyde Common in Portland. Saturday, noon. My mother texted me 3 days early. Excited to see you, smiling face with smiling eyes. I should have known. My mother does not use emojis unless she wants something. I took the bus downtown. Saved $12 parking, arrived at 11:50. They were already there. Linda with a mimosa, Rich with black coffee. They stood when I walked over. My mother hugged me, brief, performative. My father shook my hand. That is how he greets me, a handshake. We sat. The server came. Young woman, nose ring, green apron. I ordered water with lemon. I had $43 in checking until Monday. My mother pulled out her phone, tilted the screen toward me. We have exciting news. A photo, land, trees, a meadow, Mount Hood in the distance. We bought this, she said. 4 acres in West Lynn. We're building our retirement home. She set the phone down, smiled like she was about to give me a gift. And we want you to design it. I set down my water. You want me to design your house? You're an architect, my father said. We're family. It makes sense. Here is what they did not say. They did not say, we'll pay you, of course. They did not say, what's your rate? They did not say, let's discuss a contract. What my mother said was this: it'll be fun, Cassie. A family project? A family project? I should have said no. I should have said, my rate is $70 per hour. This will take 600 hours minimum. Let me send you a proposal. But here is what I heard in her voice. I heard, finally they see me. So I pulled a napkin from the dispenser, asked my father for his pen, and I sketched. By the time our food arrived, salmon toast for Linda, steak and eggs for Rich, house salad for me because it was the cheapest thing at $14, I had drawn the basic concept. Single story, great room center, primary suite east, guest suite west, floor-to-ceiling windows south for the view. My mother held that napkin like it was a treasure map. This is exactly what we imagined. My father nodded. Can you have full plans in a month? I can. Perfect, we're meeting a contractor next week. Luis Herrera, comes highly recommended. The check came, $67 my father paid, tipped 20%, did not mention paying me, just said thanks Cassie. This means a lot. I went home that afternoon, opened my laptop, started designing, because I thought this was love. I was wrong, but I would not know how wrong for 2 more years. I submitted the zoning variance application to West Lynn. The lot required setback adjustments because of the slope. I spent 14 hours that weekend redrawing, recalculating, resubmitting. Sunday evening my phone rang, unknown number. I answered. Hello, hi, is this Cassandra Bennett? A woman's voice. Yes. This is Jennifer from West Lynn Planning Department. I have a question about your variance application. It lists you as the architect of record, but the property owners are Richard and Linda Bennett. Are you related? They're my parents. Pause. I see. And are you being compensated for this work? I paused. That is between me and my clients. Of course. I just ask because we see a lot of family situations where things get complicated. Make sure you have a contract. I will, thank you. I hung up, stared at my phone. Make sure you have a contract. I did not have a contract. I told myself it is fine. They are my parents. We do not need a contract. Foundation day, I arrived at 6:30 a.m., 4 concrete trucks, Lewis and his crew ready. I checked elevations with a laser level at 7 points. Everything perfect. At 10 a.m. my mother arrived. White jeans, linen blouse. Sandals that cost more than my grocery budget for a month. She walked the perimeter, took photos, then she saw Lewis. Lewis, it's looking wonderful. Thank you, Mrs. Bennett. Cassie's plans make it easy. My mother smiled. She's very talented. I've been telling everyone I designed this house with her help. My stomach dropped. I designed this house with her help. Lewis glanced at me. I said nothing. My mother took 3 more photos, posted one to Instagram that afternoon. Caption: Dream home coming together, so excited to see my vision becoming real. House sparkles her vision. I called her that evening. Mom, I saw your Instagram post. Oh good, did you see the likes? Over 200? You said it was your vision, I designed the house. Well yes, but it's our house, Cassie, and I gave you the basic idea, you just drew it. I spent 3 months on the plans, and we're so grateful. But honey, it's still our house, our vision, you understand, right? I hung up. I should have stopped then. I should have walked away. I did not. I was at the site checking foundation curing when I heard voices from the driveway. My father and my brother Todd. I walked around the side of the house trailer, saw them standing by Rich's Accord. Don't worry, my father was saying. The house will be yours. I froze. Todd's voice. What about Cassie? Won't she expect half? My mother's voice. I had not seen her car. She doesn't need to know yet. By the time we're gone, you'll have a family, she'll understand. But she's designing it for free. My father, we're not forcing her, Todd. She volunteered. This is what she wanted to do. I stood there, behind the trailer, 20 feet away, listening. My mother again. Besides, think of this as our investment in your future. You'll need space for kids. Cassie is fine on her own. She always has been. Silence. Then Todd, if you say so. They got in their cars and left. I stood in that gravel parking area for 10 minutes, hands shaking. The house will be yours. She doesn't need to know yet. They had planned this from the beginning. I pulled out my phone, opened my notes, typed May 31, 2020, 11:47 a.m. Overheard. The house will be yours. Dad to Todd. She doesn't need to know yet. Mom. I did not confront them. I kept building their house. If you have ever heard your family talk about you like you are not a person, like you are just a resource to be used, you know what this feels like. Hit subscribe because it gets worse. It gets so much worse. Framing week. Walls going up, the skeleton of the house taking shape. I was checking window openings when Lewis pulled me aside. Cassie, can we talk? Sure. We walked to his truck. He opened the door, pulled out a folder. I need to show you something. Your parents asked me to give them a cost estimate for design work. They wanted to know what they would have paid an architect. He handed me a document, letterhead from a Portland architecture firm. Residential design services estimate. I scanned it. Preliminary design, $15,000. Construction documents, $35,000. Project management, $37,000. Total, $87,000. They wanted this in writing, Lewis said. I asked why. Your father said for tax purposes. For tax purposes. Cassie, are they planning to pay you? No, Lewis was quiet then. I have built 50 houses. I have never seen an architect work for free, not even for family. It is fine. Is it? He looked at me. Because if it is fine, why do they need a cost estimate? Why do they need to know what they saved? I had no answer. Listen, Lewis said, I keep records, every meeting you attend, every site visit, every change order you review. If you ever need proof of your work, I have it. Why would I need proof? I hope you don't, but I've been doing this 20 years, family projects like this, they don't always end well. He closed the folder. Just know I'm documenting. The house was framed, roof on, windows openings cut perfectly. My father showed up that afternoon with Todd. They both had Starbucks coffees. Venti, they did not bring me one. Rich walked the framing. Looked up at the cantilever I had engineered. Turned to Todd. This is going to be perfect for your family someday. I was standing 15 feet away. Foundation day, I arrived at 6:30 a.m., 4 concrete trucks. Lewis and his crew ready. I checked elevations with a laser level at 7 points. Everything perfect. At 10 a.m., my mother arrived. White jeans, linen blouse. Sandals that cost more than my grocery budget for a month. She walked the perimeter, took photos, then she saw Louis. Louis, it's looking wonderful. Thank you, Mrs. Bennett. Cassie's plans make it easy. My mother smiled. She's very talented. I've been telling everyone I designed this house with her help. My stomach dropped. I designed this house with her help. Louis glanced at me. I said nothing. My mother took 3 more photos, posted one to Instagram that afternoon. Caption: Dream home coming together, so excited to see my vision becoming real. House sparkles her vision. I called her that evening. Mom, I saw your Instagram post. Oh good, did you see the likes? Over 200? You said it was your vision, I designed the house. Well yes, but it's our house, Cassie, and I gave you the basic idea, you just drew it. I spent 3 months on the plans, and we're so grateful. But honey, it's still our house, our vision, you understand, right? I hung up. I should have stopped then. I should have walked away. I did not. I was at the site checking foundation curing when I heard voices from the driveway. My father and my brother Todd. I walked around the side of the house trailer, saw them standing by Rich's Accord. Don't worry, my father was saying. The house will be yours. I froze. Todd's voice. What about Cassie? Won't she expect half? My mother's voice. I had not seen her car. She doesn't need to know yet. By the time we're gone, you'll have a family, she'll understand. But she's designing it for free. My father, we're not forcing her, Todd. She volunteered. This is what she wanted to do. I stood there, behind the trailer, 20 feet away, listening. My mother again. Besides, think of this as our investment in your future. You'll need space for kids. Cassie is fine on her own. She always has been. Silence. Then Todd, if you say so. They got in their cars and left. I stood in that gravel parking area for 10 minutes, hands shaking. The house will be yours. She doesn't need to know yet. They had planned this from the beginning. I pulled out my phone, opened my notes, typed May 31, 2020, 11:47 a.m. Overheard. The house will be yours. Dad to Todd. She doesn't need to know yet. Mom. I did not confront them. I kept building their house. If you have ever heard your family talk about you like you are not a person, like you are just a resource to be used, you know what this feels like. Hit subscribe because it gets worse. It gets so much worse. Framing week. Walls going up, the skeleton of the house taking shape. I was checking window openings when Louis pulled me aside. Cassie, can we talk? Sure. We walked to his truck. He opened the door, pulled out a folder. I need to show you something. Your parents asked me to give them a cost estimate for design work. They wanted to know what they would have paid an architect. He handed me a document, letterhead from a Portland architecture firm. Residential design services estimate. I scanned it. Preliminary design, $15,000. Construction documents, $35,000. Project management, $37,000. Total, $87,000. They wanted this in writing, Louis said. I asked why. Your father said for tax purposes. For tax purposes. Cassie, are they planning to pay you? No, Louis was quiet then. I have built 50 houses. I have never seen an architect work for free, not even for family. It is fine. Is it? He looked at me. Because if it is fine, why do they need a cost estimate? Why do they need to know what they saved? I had no answer. Listen, Louis said, I keep records, every meeting you attend, every site visit, every change order you review. If you ever need proof of your work, I have it. Why would I need proof? I hope you don't, but I've been doing this 20 years, family projects like this, they don't always end well. He closed the folder. Just know I'm documenting. The house was framed, roof on, windows openings cut perfectly. My father showed up that afternoon with Todd. They both had Starbucks coffees. Venti, they did not bring me one. Rich walked the framing. Looked up at the cantilever I had engineered. Turned to Todd. This is going to be perfect for your family someday. I was standing 15 feet away. Holding blueprints, Todd glanced at me, looked uncomfortable, said nothing. 3, maybe 4 grandkids running around this great room, Rich continued. We made a good investment. Investment, that is what I was, an investment. Todd pulled out his phone, took a selfie with the house behind him. Posted it immediately. I saw the notification on my phone. Parents' retirement spot coming together. Houses can't wait for holidays here. He tagged Linda and Rich. He did not tag me. After they left, I sat in my car in the driveway for 20 minutes, engine off, just staring at the house. This house was going to Todd. It was always going to Todd. And they let me spend 400 hours so far building it without telling me. I opened my notes app, added another entry. September 19, 2020, Dad to Todd. This will be perfect for your family someday. Did not correct himself, not our family, Todd's family. I had started keeping a record. I did not know why yet, but some part of me knew I would need it. Halloween. I was at the site alone, checking HVAC rough-in when a car pulled up. Not my parents. A red Lexus SUV. A woman got out, mid-40s, blazer, heels, professional. Hi, are you the architect? Yes, I'm Amanda Chen. Real estate agent. I have an appointment with the Bennetts. My parents are not here. Oh, she checked her phone. They said 2 p.m. I'm here to do a market analysis. Market analysis for what? They're considering listing the property. Wanted to know what it would sell for when complete. My blood went cold. Listing it, Amanda seemed to realize she had said something wrong. Maybe I should call them. No, can you tell me what you discussed? She hesitated. Pulled out a folder. They wanted to know if they complete construction and list immediately, what's the likely sale price. I estimated $1.40 to $1.5 million based on comps. They are planning to sell it. That's what they asked about, flip potential. They mentioned they had gotten the design work done for free through a family connection, so their profit margin would be higher. Free through a family connection, I thanked her. She left. I sat in my car and called my mother. She answered on the third ring. Hi, honey. Mom, why was there a real estate agent at the house today? Pause, long pause. Oh, Amanda, that was just exploratory. Exploratory what? We wanted to know the value for estate planning. Estate planning or selling? Cassie, why are you upset? We own the land. We can do what we want. You are planning to flip it. After I have spent 400 hours designing it for free, we are not flipping it. We're just keeping options open. Options to sell the house I am designing. It's our house, Cassie. I hung up. That night, I looked up Amanda Chen's website, found her public listings, saw a note in her testimonials. Amanda helped us navigate a complex family property situation with sensitivity and professionalism. I screenshotted it. Added it to my notes. They were planning to sell my free work. Their profit, windows were installed. Pella triple pane, $18,000 worth of windows I had spec'd for maximum efficiency. Todd visited. Brought Megan, his girlfriend, blonde hair, marketing job, Lululemon and Patagonia. They walked through taking photos. Todd posted an Instagram story. Christmas at the new place is gonna be lit fire. After he left, Megan stayed behind. She found me in what would become the primary bedroom, checking window seals. Cassie, can I talk to you? Sure. She glanced toward the door, made sure Todd was outside. This doesn't seem fair to you. What do not? All this work you're doing for free, and Todd keeps talking about our house like he built it? He did not build it. I know, I told him that. He said it's going to be his someday, so it's basically his. I stared at her. I shouldn't have said anything, Megan said quickly. I would want to know. If it were me, thank you, she nodded, left. I heard Todd call her name from outside. I added it to my notes. December 12, 2020, Megan, Todd keeps talking about OUR house. Confirmed, Todd believes house is his. 1 year since the napkin, the house was 50% complete. Exterior done, interior framing done. Drywall starting. I stood in the meadow looking at it. It was beautiful. It was exactly what I had drawn. My phone rang. My mother. Cassie, I need a favor. What? Can you send me a detailed list of all your design choices, materials, colors, fixtures, everything? Why, Carol from book club wants to copy some ideas for her daughter's house. That is my professional work, Mom. I know, but it's just a list. It won't take long. I have spent a year on this house for free, and now you want to give my work to someone else? Don't be dramatic. It's just inspiration. No, Cassie, I hung up. She texted 30 seconds later, you're being very selfish right now. Selfish. I was being selfish. I screenshot the text, added it to my notes. But here is what I did not know. Here is the twist I would not discover until much later. That same week, my parents met with an estate attorney. They created the trust. March 2021, 1 year into construction, the trust that put the house in Todd's name, only Todd's. They planned it from the beginning. But they made it official 1 year in. While I was still working, while they still needed me. The con was not accidental. It was designed, just like the house. Stay with me because year 2 is when everything starts to unravel. When the magazine gets involved, when I start to see the full picture. Subscribe if you have not already because the twists I am about to describe, I still can't believe they did this. Interior walls were going up. Drywall, tape, mud. I was there when the electrician ran wire, when the plumber rough-in fixtures. Louis found me in the kitchen. He had a strange expression. Cassie, your father asked me something yesterday. What? He wanted to know if I could give him a letter saying you contributed to the project for his taxes. For his taxes? He said he wants to claim your work as a charitable donation to you. Like you're a nonprofit? My stomach turned. That is not how it works. I know, I told him that. He said his accountant suggested it. They are trying to write off my labor. That's what it sounded like. I said I would not provide that letter, that it would not be accurate. Thank you. Louis was quiet for a moment. Cassie, I have to ask, why are you still doing this? Because they are my parents. And when this house is done, when they are living in it, will they thank you then? I did not answer, because I did not know. My phone rang at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. My mother. Cassie, I need you to do something for me. What? Can you not mention to people that you did this for free? Why? Because Carol asked me at book club today what we paid you, and I said we had an arrangement, and she said that must have been expensive, and I just. It's awkward, Cassie. Awkward for who? For me. People assume we paid you $80,000 or something. It makes me look, I don't know, privileged. You are privileged. You got $87,000 of free work. Don't be like that. I'm just saying when people ask, can you be vague? You want me to lie? I want you to not make things complicated. She hung up. I screenshot her contact. Added a note. May 29, 2021. Mother asked me to hide free work from friends, embarrassed by her own behavior. Paint selection day. I spent 6 hours with Benjamin Moore samples. Chose 4 colors. Cloud white, pale oak, gray owl, Swiss coffee. I texted my mother photos. She replied, whatever you think is best. I called her. Mom, this is your house. Don't you want input? You're the expert, Cassie. I trust you. But I am doing this for free. The least you could do is engage. Silence. Then her voice cold. Why are you being so sensitive? I said I trust you. I hung up. I stared at those paint samples. 6 hours of work, 6 seconds of acknowledgement. Email from Marissa Chen. Hi Cassandra, I'm a writer for Architecture Northwest magazine. Luis Herrera mentioned your project. We'd love to feature it in our Mountain Modern issue. I read it 3 times, then I called my mother. A magazine wants to feature the house. What, really? Architecture Northwest. They want to interview me and photograph it. Oh my God, that's incredible. I will coordinate. Are you okay with it? Of course, this is so exciting. She hung up, did not ask how I would be credited, did not discuss whether I would be identified as the designer, just exciting. I replied to Marissa, yes, we'd be happy to participate. But here is what I did not know. 2 days after I replied, my mother called Marissa. I would not learn about this call until much later, until after the magazine came out, when Marissa told me herself. My mother said, Hi Marissa, this is Linda Bennett, owner of the property. I wanted to discuss the article. Marissa, of course, what would you like to discuss? My mother, the headline. I saw in your email to Cassie that you're calling it a daughter's gift. Could we adjust that? Marissa, what would you prefer? My mother, something like Linda and Rich Bennett's modern mountain home. We're the owners. Cassie helped, but it's our vision. Marissa, Mrs. Bennett, Cassie is the architect of record. She designed the house. Our editorial policy is to credit the designer. My mother, but we're paying for the feature, aren't we? Marissa, no ma'am. We don't charge for editorial features, and we don't change bylines based on owner preference. My mother, I see. Well, can you at least mention that I was involved in the design? Marissa, was you involved in the design? Pause, long pause. My mother, I gave her the basic concept. Marissa, I'll include that you provided the program requirements, but the design credit goes to Cassie. My mother hung up. Marissa called me an hour later, told me everything. I wanted you to know, Marissa said. Your mother tried to minimize your credit. Why are you telling me this? Because I've been writing about architecture for 10 years. I know when someone is being taken advantage of. Just be careful, Cassie. I thanked her, hung up. Added it to my notes. October 25, 2021. Mother tried to change magazine headline, wanted credit. Marissa refused. The con was not just financial, it was credit, recognition, legacy. They wanted to erase me from my own work. Magazine shoot day. Marissa arrived with a photographer. My parents were there, both dressed perfectly. The house was 95% done. Marissa walked through slowly, asked questions. How long did this take? What were the biggest challenges? How did you approach the site? I answered everything. My mother stood nearby, smiling, interjecting occasionally. I gave Cassie the basic idea, she said at one point. The windows facing Mount Hood, that was my concept. Marissa wrote that down. Did not contradict her, just wrote it down. After the shoot, Marissa pulled me aside. Cassie, I need to ask, your mother said you did this as a gift. Does that mean you were not compensated? I was not compensated. At all, at all. Marissa looked at me for a long moment. That's a $1.2 million house. Your work is worth $80,000 minimum. I know. Why did you do it? Because I thought it would make them see me. And did it? I did not answer. Final walkthrough. The house was complete, every detail perfect. I walked through alone. Lewis gave me the key. I stood in the great room, looked at Mount Hood through the center window, perfectly framed. I took a photo, not for Instagram, for me, proof that I had made something beautiful. My phone buzzed. Text from my mother, can you meet us at the house tomorrow? We want to discuss something. What? Just come. 2 p.m.? I arrived at 2 p.m. My parents were waiting, sitting on the new couch they had just bought. Todd was there too, standing by the window. I sat down. What did you want to discuss? My father pulled out a folder. Set it on the coffee table. We finalized our estate plan, he said. We wanted to tell you before you heard it from our lawyer. Okay. He opened the folder, showed me the first page. Last will and testament. I already know this is not going in my favor, my mother spoke. Cassie, the house is going to Todd. I looked at Todd. He was staring at the floor, I know. My father blinked. You know, I overheard you. May 2020. The house will be yours. You said it to Todd. I was there. My mother's face went pale. You heard that. I heard a lot of things. I heard you tell your book club this was your vision. I heard you try to change the magazine headline. I heard you call my work a charitable donation for your taxes. Silence. I stood up. Is there anything else, my father? You're not upset? I am devastated. But I am not surprised. You used me. You let me work for free for 2 years because you knew I wanted your approval. And now you are giving my work to Todd, my mother. It's not like that. It is exactly like that. I walked toward the door. Todd spoke for the first time. Cassie, wait, I didn't know about the overhearing thing. I didn't know you knew. You knew the house was going to you. That is enough. I left. Drove home, sat in my apartment, and I made a decision. I would tell the truth, publicly. At the housewarming party they were planning, I would bring proof, every email, every text, every hour logged, the magazine, the napkin. And I would let 80 people see what my parents really are. If you have ever been betrayed by family and decided to stop protecting their reputation, this next part is for you. Subscribe and stay with me. Because the housewarming party, the confrontation, what I brought with me, I have no regrets. The magazine arrived on a Tuesday, 3 copies in a manila envelope. I opened it, page 38, 6 pages, 14 photos, headline. A daughter's gift, architect Cassandra Bennett designs her parents' dream retirement home. I read Marissa's article. She had written about the design, the site, the cantilever, the passive solar strategy. 3rd paragraph. Bennett spent over 2 years on the project, donating her time and expertise, work that would typically command fees upward of $85,000, to create a house that honors both the landscape and her parents' vision for the next chapter of their lives. Donating $85,000 in print. My mother called 20 minutes later. Cassie, the magazine is beautiful. I know. Can you send me the PDF? I want to email everyone. Sure, everyone is going to see this. You must be so proud. I am, but I was not proud. I was angry. Because that article, that beautiful 6-page spread, would be the only public acknowledgement I ever got. Sunday morning, email from my mother. Subject, estate planning documents. I opened it. Hi Cassie, your father and I updated our estate plan. Attached are the documents. Love, Mom. I downloaded the PDF. 47 pages, skimmed to page 12. Section IV, real property. The real property located at 14,250 Rosemont Ridge Drive, West Lynn, Oregon, including all structures, improvements, and appurtenances, shall be placed in an irrevocable trust for the sole benefit of Todd Michael Bennett. And there it was. In writing, what I had known for 2 years, I looked at the date on the trust. March 15, 2021. 2 years ago, 1 year into construction. They had created this trust while I was still working, while they still needed me. The con was complete. I called my mother. She picked up on the second ring. Hi, honey. I got the trust documents. Oh, good. Did you have questions? Why is it dated March 2021? Pause. You made this decision 2 years ago while I was still working on the house. We had to plan ahead. You used me. You knew you were giving it to Todd and you let me keep working. Cassie, that's not. Yes, it is. You conned me. We did not con you. Then what do you call it? Letting me work for free for 2 years while you secretly plan to give everything to Todd? It's not everything. You'll get half of our other assets. The other assets are worth $200,000. The house is worth $1.2 million. You're giving Todd 6 times what I get. Silence. Mom, I designed that house, every detail, every beam, every window, and you are giving it to Todd like I do not exist. It is our house, Cassie. I hung up, and I started preparing. 2 weeks of preparation. I gathered evidence, printed emails, screenshot texts, made copies of blueprints, bound the magazine, framed the napkin. I made a spreadsheet. Every hour logged, 1,248 hours, $87,360 value. I called Jen, asked her to come to the party as a witness. I made a plan. The housewarming was scheduled for March 25. 80 guests. My parents' friends, neighbors, colleagues, book club, everyone. I would wait until my mother gave her speech. Her thank you speech where she would thank Louis, thank the crew, thank me, and then I would speak. I would bring the napkin, the magazine, the spreadsheet, the trust, and I would tell 80 people what my parents did, not for revenge, for truth. Because free labor is not love and silence protects abusers. The party was in 1 week, Saturday, 2 p.m. I arrived at 2:15. The house looked perfect. Cedar siding silvered, landscaping lush. Cars lined the street. I walked up carrying my canvas tote. Inside, the napkin, the magazine, the spreadsheet, the emails, the trust. Linda met me at the door, cream dress. Perfect hair. Cassie, you made it. Brief hug, performance for anyone watching. I stepped inside. The great room was full. 70, 80 people. Clusters by the windows, by the fireplace, by the kitchen island I had designed. I saw my father talking to his boss, Todd near the kitchen with Megan, Aunt Maureen by the fireplace, Louis near the hallway. Jen was standing by the entrance. She saw me, nodded. I set my tote on a bench, did not take anything out. Not yet. I circulated, smiled, answered questions. Carol from book club, did you design this? Yes, it's stunning. You must be so proud. Your mother said you two worked on it together. We did not work on it together. I designed it alone. Carol looked uncomfortable, moved on. Douglas from Rich's firm, beautiful work. What's your fee for something like this? Usually $85,000. That's reasonable for a project this size. I did not tell him I charged nothing. At 2:45, Linda stepped onto the fireplace hearth, tapped a wine glass. Everyone, can I have your attention? The room quieted. Phones came out. Rich and I want to thank you all for being here. This house has been a dream for over a decade. Applause. We have to thank Louis Herrera and his crew. Louis, you built this with such care. Louis raised his hand. People clapped. And of course, our daughter Cassie, who designed every detail of this beautiful home. She looked around. Cassie, I raised my hand. Cassie is an architect and we are so proud. This house is her gift to us. Her gift. We also want to share that this house will one day be passed down to Todd, who will raise his family here and continue our legacy. She gestured to Todd. He raised his champagne flute. No mention of 1,248 hours. No mention of free work. No mention of $87,360 in donated labor. Just her gift. I waited until Linda stepped down. Until conversations resumed. Then I walked to the bench, picked up the tote, pulled out the framed napkin. I walked to the center of the great room, stood there holding it until people noticed. Then I spoke, calm, clear. Can I say something? Everything stopped. I held up the napkin, the sketch visible through glass. This is the first sketch I made of this house, 4 years ago, drawn on a napkin at Clyde Common before our food arrived. A few people smiled. Someone started recording. At the time, I was 29 years old, making $52,000 a year, living in a studio apartment. When my parents asked me to design this house, I was honored, I thought. Finally, they see me. Linda's smile froze. I spent 2 years on this project every weekend. I logged every hour. I pulled out the spreadsheet. 1,248 hours. At $70 per hour, that's $87,360 in professional labor. I never sent an invoice. Silence. I chose every detail. The siding, the windows, the countertops. I designed the cantilever. Got the zoning variance, made this house real. I pulled out the magazine. This house was featured in Architecture Northwest, 6 pages. I opened it. Read aloud. Bennett donated over 2 years of her time, work that would typically command fees upward of $85,000. I looked up. Donated because I worked for free. My father stepped forward. Cassie, this is not the time, but here is what you did not tell these 80 people. Here is what I discovered. I pulled out the trust. 3 weeks ago, I received the estate documents. This house will be placed in a trust for Todd, only Todd. Gasps, murmurs, not split, just Todd. I pulled out another document, but here is the twist. This trust is dated March 15, 2021, 2 years ago, 1 year into construction. I looked at my parents. You created this trust while I was still working, while you still needed me. My mother's face went white. You planned this from the beginning, you used me, you let me work for free because you knew I wanted your approval, and you gave my work to Todd. I looked at Todd. Did you know about the trust date? He looked at the floor, said nothing. You knew. I turned back to the room. But here is what makes it worse. My mother tried to take credit for my work. I pulled out printed emails. She told her book club she designed this house with my help. She tried to change the magazine headline. She asked me to hide the fact that I worked for free because it made her look bad. I looked at Linda. You were not embarrassed that you took advantage of me. You were embarrassed that people knew. Aunt Maureen spoke from the fireplace. Linda, is this true? My mother opened her mouth, closed it. Louis spoke. It's true. I documented everything, every site visit Cassie made, every hour she worked. She built this house. A man from Rich's firm. You're giving your son a $1.2 million house that your daughter designed for free? Rich, it's complicated. How is it complicated? Carol from book club crying, Linda, how could you? My mother's voice cracked. She volunteered, we didn't force her. I held up the napkin. You asked me at a restaurant, you said family project. You knew I would say yes, you knew I wanted your love. I set the magazine on the coffee table, the spreadsheet beside it. The trust beside that, everything is here, anyone who wants to see proof, it's here. I picked up the napkin. This is the only thing I'm taking, the first sketch, the moment I believed you. I looked around the room, 80 faces, some crying. Some angry, some nodding. I don't regret designing this house, it's beautiful, but I regret believing that giving my work away would make you love me. I walked to the door, no one stopped me, I got in my car. Set the napkin on the passenger seat, drove home. Behind me, I learned later the party fell apart, people left. My mother locked herself in the bedroom, my father tried to salvage it with more wine, no one stayed, the truth was out. And I was free. If this story reminded you that your work has value, that you deserve to be seen, share it. Comment, subscribe, and remember, you do not owe anyone free labor, not even family. The calls started immediately. By the time I got home, 14 missed calls. Voicemail 1, Rich, 3:17 p.m. That was inappropriate, you embarrassed your mother, call me. Voicemail 2, Linda, 3:22 p.m. How could you? You humiliated us in front of everyone, call me now. Voicemail 3, Todd, 3:31 p.m. What the fuck, Cassie, that was fucked up. Voicemail 4, Aunt Maureen, 3:45 p.m. Honey, I had no idea. I'm so sorry, call me. Voicemail 5, Carol, 4:10 p.m. Cassie, it's Carol, what you did took courage, I'm so sorry. Voicemail 6, Louis, 4:30 p.m. That took guts. You did the right thing? Voicemail 7, Jen, 4:45 p.m. I'm so proud of you, call me when you're ready. I saved 3, deleted 4, turned off my phone, sat in my apartment holding the napkin. Rich called. Your mother is very upset, I bet. You made us look terrible. I told the truth. You should have talked to us privately. I tried. For 2 years, you never listened. What do you want from us? Nothing. I just wanted you to know. Click. 1 week later, Linda texted. Can we meet? No, I'm sorry you feel hurt. Sorry I feel hurt, not sorry for hurting me. I did not reply. 2 weeks later, letter from Todd, 3 pages. I didn't know you overheard us in 2020. I didn't know about the magazine headline. Mom just told me last week. I talked to them. They'll change the trust. You'll get 20% of future sale proceeds. 20% of a hypothetical future sale. I put the letter in a drawer. 1 month later, Aunt Maureen called. Your mother is not speaking to me. I told her what she did was wrong. Thank you. Half the book club stopped talking to her. Carol quit. I did not mean to destroy her friendships. You didn't destroy anything. You told the truth. She destroyed her own reputation. 6 months later. I designed my own house. 1,200 square feet, 2 bedrooms, open kitchen, floor-to-ceiling windows, quarter-acre lot, southeast Portland, $180,000 I saved for 3 years. I hired Lewis. He gave me a fair price, finished on time. When it was done, I moved in, hung the napkin on the wall not as a reminder of betrayal, as a reminder that I am worth more than free labor. 1 year later, my mother sent a Christmas card, store-bought, generic, inside handwritten. We miss you, love Mom and Dad. I did not respond. Todd got married. I was not invited. I saw the photos on Instagram. The wedding was at my parents' house, the house I designed. He posted, married the love of my life at my parents' beautiful home. My parents' home, not mine. Never mind, I am 34 now, still single, no kids, but I have a house I own, a career I built. A napkin that reminds me every day I am valuable, my work has worth, and I will never work for free again. That is my story. 1,248 hours, $87,360, 1 napkin, 1 truth. If this reminded you that you deserve to be seen, share it, drop a comment, subscribe, and remember. Free labor is not love, it's just labor. I'll see you in the next one.